Hey guys, you're watching Matt the Musketeer, and today I am back with my second episode of Battlefield 4 The Wishlist. Now if any of you guys are new to my channel, or maybe you just missed my first video, I will leave a link to that in the description below. So go check that video out, leave me a comment, tell me your thoughts on my initial ideas for Battlefield 4. So today, not only do I want to bring you some new ideas that I want to talk about, I also want to try and build on some of the previous ideas I did mention in my original video. Now in my original wish list, one of the first things I spoke to you guys about was the idea of map design. And I was talking about the idea that if Battlefield 4 campaign was a continuation of Battlefield 3, it would be really cool to see some very similar maps to Battlefield 3, but after the events of Battlefield 3. For example, things like Sen Crossing after the nuclear explosion went off in the campaign. Now, since the release of the Aftermath map packs, where we saw things like earthquakes going on during the game, which made the map shake about a little bit, I actually start to think how cool it would be if there were maps that could change the environment and the dynamic of the gameplay as the match was taking place. So an example of this that I've just made up would be to see something very similar to Team Deathmatch on Noshar Canals, very close quarters engagement in very confined alleyways between crates and things like that, but taking place, for example, on board a large container ship. But as the game progresses, that container ship begins to sink. So at the start of the game, the whole shipping container is above the water, and you can have long, large range engagements. But over the course of maybe 10, 15 minutes, that ship begins to sink. So as the match goes on, the space you've got to fight in becomes smaller and smaller, and the areas become more confined. So your playstyle and the kind of engagements you find yourself in begin to change. So you have to maybe switch up the weapons you're using, switch up the pace you're playing at, or just switch up the playstyle you're using. That is something that I think would be really cool to see in Battlefield 4. It would add a really new dynamic to the game, and it would, be just something really interesting that not only does your playstyle change between matches, but it actually changes in the matches themselves as the game is playing. And of course, this kind of idea can be applied to any type of map really. If it's an urban map, maybe bombs could go off and parts of the city could collapse and streets could become blocked off and the map becomes smaller and smaller. Or if it's a rural map, maybe fires could take place that cut off parts of the map. So there are lots of different ways this kind of dynamic could take place in lots of different maps in Battlefield 4. So, does this idea sound good to you? Tell me in the comment section below. Maybe you have a few ideas of your own that you want to add to this idea. Maybe you dislike this idea. Tell me all in the comment section below. Now, moving on, recently I did a video called Battlefield 4 Class Balance, and I was talking to you guys about the ideas of taking maybe a few class balances from Bad Company 2 and applying them to Battlefield 4. Now, a lot of you guys agree with my comments in that video, but now I just want to add a few things to that which I'd also like to see implemented into Battlefield 4. Now, in that video, a lot of you guys did agree with me that the Assault class in Battlefield 3 is a little bit overpowered. Now, one thing I think could be implemented quite quickly and easily to Battlefield 4 to maybe even out the classes a little bit would be maybe the fact that defibrillators can't be infinitely used. Maybe there's a recharge time between reviving people, so you can't just go around doing lots of revive chains and making lots and lots of points. Or maybe your defibrillators have a certain amount of battery life and you can only use them for so long before they become redundant. Now, also in that video, a lot of you guys were leaving me comments saying that maybe if people die in certain ways, they shouldn't be able to be revived by the Assault class. And I've thought about this, and I do think it's a good idea. And it would, again, balance out the Assault class that little bit more so they can't go around reviving everyone. So, for example, if someone dies because they get headshot by a sniper rifle, that's a pretty collateral damage way to die, so maybe you can't be revived. Or if someone stabs you in the neck and takes your dog tags, maybe you can't be revived then. Or if you're crushed by falling rubble, or maybe killed by a tank round or a large explosion, maybe those kind of kills kind of stop you from being able to be revived because they're pretty desperate and pretty extreme ways to be killed. Now, the next thing on my list is something that I really should have mentioned in my first video, and I did fail to mention it, and it is something that the Battlefield community really have been crying out for a long time for now, and of course it is a battle recorder. Now, the reason I'd like to see this implemented into the game is because Battlefield 3 is a beautiful game, and we've already seen from the video footage already that Battlefield 4 is going to be even more of a beautiful game, and having a battle recorder not only allows you to record your gameplay and show other people your gameplay and just open up the Battlefield community to just everyone, not only people who have recording equipment, I also think it will allow people to kind of rejoice and just kind of get entertained and enjoy how beautiful Battlefield 4 is going to be. Being able to do very creative videos that we see already with things like the free cam and stuff like that would make things a lot easier if you had a battle recorder, and it is something, as I said, that everyone in the Battlefield community has been asking for a long time now. People at first thought it might be getting implemented into Battlefield 3. We now know, of course, that isn't going to be happening, but we can still hope that maybe a battle recorder will be in Battlefield 4. And also it will help compete with other large multiplayer games out there that do have battle recorders built into them. Now, something else that I would love to see in Battlefield 4, which I am very passionate about, and I have done an entire video based on it, which did very well. It was very popular. In fact, I think it's my most liked video on YouTube, is a way of stopping server admin abuse. Now, I won't go into this in too much detail, but I have left a link to the video in the description below. I just wanted to add that to my Battlefield 4 wish list. I do want to see something implemented into Battlefield 4 that gives you the power to rate servers. So if a server admin is abusing his power and kicking players and just acting in a way that he shouldn't be, it gives you a kind of voice to voice your opinion and give the servers a rating. So as I said, that's a video topic that I have done in detail on another video, and I have left the link to that in the description below. Now, the final idea that I want to speak to you guys about today is possibly the best idea, and I must admit it isn't actually my own idea. It was actually submitted to me by one of my subscribers in the comment section of my previous wishlist video. And this idea was such a good idea, I do feel the need to mention it to you today, because it would infinitely increase the amount of playtime you could have with Battlefield 4. Now, the idea itself is very simple. For games like Team Deathmatch, as I'm playing here, that just use much smaller sections and areas of maps that are much larger, like with Navandam Flats here, every time you play Team Deathmatch, it is just in and around this warehouse and doesn't use any other part of the map. But this idea would allow you, if you ran a server, to highlight areas of maps to use for a Team Deathmatch. So let's say, for an example, a Team Deathmatch area is 100 meters squared. So you could then, on a map, highlight 100 meters squared of the map and choose that to be the area for the Team Deathmatch. This would allow you to create infinite combinations of map areas you could use from one single map. So I think this is a great idea that could work really well if implemented into Battlefield 4. But that's all the ideas from me today, guys. In the comment section below, I want to hear from you. Tell me your top 5 ideas that you would like to see in Battlefield 4. And maybe if I like them enough, I'll give them a shout out in the next video as well. And don't forget, if you did enjoy this video, please give me a like, and hey, maybe share the video. It does help me out a lot. But in the meantime, guys, before I go, I just have time to announce the 3 runners-up of my 5K giveaway. So the 3 people who have won themselves copies of the Arma 3 Light Alpha are I Am Only Vector, X Sniper Assault X, and X Iron Hawk Gaming. So if you're one of those guys, I will be messaging you your code for the Arma 3 Alpha Light Edition. And stay tuned for my next video where I will be announcing the winner of the Rocat Gaming Mouse. But in the meantime, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.